Hello, YouTube. Going to talk for a minute about the Associated Press and their request for all journalists to make sure that they include the appropriate definition of the alt-right when referring to it in their op-eds, as they've all become. And I think this is really hilarious. The official definition now, according to the Associated Press and the Marxists globally, the official definition of any alternative media that isn't corporate sponsored is that they're fascist, xenophobic, racist groups, whose focus is on racism. And who are, essentially to be associated with Nazis and fascism by definition, according to the Associated Press. And so this is just an example of what you might call the death throes, right? This is part of the death cry of the legacy media as they try to escape their fate of becoming legacy and irrelevant, which will happen regardless of anything that they do, short of telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And even if they do that, they're still going to have to cater their message to the fact that the internet is far more capable of delivering accurate news than one of these corporate machines. And I think it's really telling and really hilarious that the left, which for the last decade or so has been against anything corporate, right, is now going to tell you that the corporate news owned by, bankers and financiers and global jet setters, that the corporate news is now the only place to get your news from, because any alternative media is automatically racist, automatically fascist, automatically associated with the KKK. Was one of the other specific things that these so-called journalists are supposed to document in their articles, is that alternative media is associated with the Ku Klux Klan. Alternative media is associated with racism and xenophobia. And this it isn't true. There are plenty of left-leaning individuals with their own alternative media outlets. One of the most reputable would be H.A. Goodman. Puts out excellent videos about current events, claims to be sort of like a Green Party Jill Stein supporter, but has a lot of good things to say about Trump, so I'm not sure where he really stands internally, if this is just, his method of making news, if he really believes that or not. But he presents himself as someone who's rather left, pretty far left, not extremely so, but more so than maybe what's popular in the U.S. right now in terms of numbers. And so there, the left is just going to lump him in with all the rest of us KKK hood-wearing Klansmen, I guess. Because if you have a mind of your own and you can think and analyze current events for yourself, then apparently you must be a racist, and you support fascism and you're a Nazi. I think that the obvious truth that the left has become incredibly authoritarian, incredibly fascist, this is starting to come out. This is why the corporate media is dying, because it leans so far to the left and it panders to the left so much. And it's just increasing in its totalitarian sort of behaviors and policies. And it's just going to squeeze all but the most hardcore partisans out of the party and into other parties, or, as independents, or people are going to, realistically, people are just going to focus more on the issues that are important to them and drop the labels like Democrat and Republican, conservative and liberal, because those labels increasingly mean nothing. They don't mean what they used to maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago. Um, and the whole ideology behind those labels has been usurped, again, by the Republican Party and by the Democratic Party. They're essentially the same at this point in American politics. They're just centrist, statist, fascist organizations. They believe in government control and, that the government should have the total authority over the citizenship, which is sort of backwards from what most free people actually believe about their governments. So I guess if you're watching this or if you're looking at alternative news on the internet, you're a racist. So have fun, racists. Thanks.